Hey, what's up guys? Houston here, back with another video for those of you that are trying to figure out where do I start to get high limit business credit funding. Well, there is a high limit business credit loan, line of credit, or business credit card, okay? And I'll always tell you guys, do not start with the tier 1 banks, okay? You should have a tier 1 bank in your mix, but you do not want to start with them when it comes to getting funding. Now, here's the thing about it. Some of you all probably wondering, like, what's a tier 1 bank? Your tier 1 bank are usually like your major banks. And I always tell you the 3 major banks that you should have access to is either Citibank, Capital One, or Chase. And the reason is because those 3 major banks, those are the ones that report to most of the business credit bureaus, which your major business credit bureaus are Equifax Business, Experian Business, Small Business Financial Exchange, and the information is shared with Dun & Bradstreet, okay? Now, I know some of you all are probably kind of puzzled because you're like, okay, what's up with the birthday hat? What's up with the birthday sign? Didn't you have a birthday? Yes, I had a birthday this year back in January. I turned 50 years old. Yay. And so today is my youngest son's birthday. He finally turns 18. And he's been looking for this for so long. I'll be glad when I turn 18. I'll be glad when I turn 18 because he's been wanting to work in the job market, you know. And so now he's turned 18. He decided that he wasn't going to go to traditional college. He decided he's going to focus more on going into his career, which he's trying to do lineman, right? Which crawling up the telegram poles with the lines and stuff like that. So that's what his career is focused on. He figured that he would get much further in life if he started in his career versus him going to get all of this extra education, okay? Now, I myself, I graduated from college and I tried to encourage my kids to, but they figured that, hey, that route is just too long. We'd rather get into our career. So my daughter, she even chosen to just go to a nursing school to get into her career and then go back to college, which she did start college. Now she's switching over, all right? But today's his birthday. He doesn't like to celebrate that much, you know, so it's just a quiet, low-key thing just for the family or whatever. You know, I wish he would have allowed us to actually celebrate his birthday with other family and stuff, just for the memories. I remember when I turned 18, I know I had a blast. We didn't have much, but my family still celebrated my birthday, you know, and I appreciate it. That being said, getting back to talking about getting business funding, high limit business funding, where do you start at, okay? So many of you all understand that when it comes to business funding, especially if you don't have any revenue in the business, choosing the right bank matters, okay? And so I'm going to give you 7 of those banks that you should check out. Number 1, starting with Navy Federal, because a lot of people, they love Navy Federal. A lot of people try to get in Navy Federal, and the reason is because Navy Federal is very forgiving, especially when you don't have the best credit. Now, when it comes to business credit funding, that's a different story. And the reason is with Navy Federal, when it comes to the level of business credit funding, there's 2 scores that matter, right? And so that would be your internal score as well as your credit score. Now, there's one other key thing that many people are not aware. And if you have the wrong code, NAICS code, they won't even open up your business bank account. So if you have a high risk NAICS code and you're trying to figure out what am I to do, click the link. You can click the link below or type Houston. If you type Houston, I'll send you over our new video series that actually talks about the best NAICS codes for funding, okay? So click the link below and I'll send that over to you for free. That being said, with Navy Federal, again, on the business side, they use Experian FICO 9, okay? And so one of the things that I continue to tell you guys, you always want to start with the lowest hanging fruit in order to get business credit funding, okay? So your FICO 9s, your Vantage 3, and your Vantage 4 institutions is actually where you want to start, all right? And if this video helps you, give you some insight or whatever, please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. Let me know if any of my videos have helped you. You know, comments really help my algorithm, you know, also that other people are getting the knowledge and stuff that some of us are not privy to. So I appreciate you guys helping me out in return for me making this content. So thank you all for rocking with me for that. Now, going back, like I said, with the 2 credit scores, it's the personal credit as well as the internal score. Now, here's the thing about it. With Navy Federal, they do take a little longer than other banks to open up your checking account, your business checking account. Now, here's the key to that, is that with Navy Federal, what you want to do is once you have your business bank account open, you want to make sure that you do deposits anywhere from 60 to 90 days. If you can do it weekly, definitely do it weekly. But here's the reason why. All right, you don't have to have any revenue in the business in order to qualify for business funding. However, usually they're going to start you out between $10,000 to up to $35,000 in funding, okay? So they may give you a $10,000 line of credit as well as a $15,000 credit card, okay? So they do start you out with pretty high limits. So that's the good thing about Navy Federal, and a lot of people like them for that. Now, the other one we're talking about, other bank we're talking about is Citizens Bank. Now, Citizens Bank is a community bank, okay? And so they are a second tier bank. Now, on the business side, they usually pull Experian Business. They used to be able to do a soft pull, okay? But things have changed, and so you may get a hard pull on the business side when you try to go for funding, especially like with a business credit card, business line of credit. I will not encourage you to go for a business loan right off the bat. Stay away from that with any of the banks. I would focus on a credit card as well as a line of credit, all right? And on the personal side with Citizens Bank, they still do use Equifax, okay? So they still do use Equifax on the personal side, but on the business side, now they started using Experian Business, all right? So that's some data points that you should know. Now, you also have GM Business. Now, with GM Business, they are a Goldman Sachs bank. All right, and many of my videos, when I talk about GM business credit cards or personal credit cards, I tell you about the hack where you can avoid the hard pull on the credit. But they do offer the business credit card. Now, one key thing with GM, what really helps you get the approval, if you have some existing business trade lines on the file. Okay, and they usually will pull Experian. But one of the things about that, in order to build up the business credit file, even if you're not with a bank, then you would have to go with like some net 30 accounts, right? And so some of your net 30 accounts would be like NAV, eCredible, Shirtsy, Creative, Crown Office Supplies, right? So they report to both Experian and Equifax. You also have a new company that reports to Experian. It's a BCC Supplies. Now, you don't have to have no revenue. You can have bad credit with all of these here net 30s and stuff. But the good thing about it, they do report to the business credit bureaus. Now, one of the things about it you do have to know with these here net 30s, sometimes they may take up to 60 to 90 days to show up. And they will not show up as the name of the creditor. Okay, that's another thing. They will not show up as the name of the creditor. All right, so that's another big thing that people get confused because they wait around 45, 60 days, and they're like, well, how come I don't see this trade line? Well, you don't see that the name of the trade line and the dollar amount will show up, but not the name of the company. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, you have another institution that gives out high limits and funding and stuff like that, usually on the business credit cards and stuff, and that's with Elon Financial. Now with Elon Financial is usually TransUnion FICO 9. Now they are the sister company of US Bank, okay? And so with US Bank, they use TransUnion FICO 9 as well. Sometimes they may use Experian. However, with your Elon Financial, usually it is TransUnion. Now, you may have to join like Connectus Credit Union to be able to get access to the business credit card and stuff like that. But it is a FICO 9. Now, the reason why, for some people that are kind of curious about why the FICO 9 is so important, is because you can have the authorized uses. You can have the rental payments. You can have the utility bills. You can have the subscriptions on the file, and so they will accept that. Now with your major banks, if you have that and they use a FICO 8 scoring, they will not count that, and so that means that your credit score may be much lower. Okay, so that's the reason they do not count that. They only go off of primary accounts. All right, so that's one thing that a lot of people are not aware of. And so when you go to like Credit Karma and you trying to apply for like the Credit Karma may suggest, oh, you'll get approved for this, and they're showing you a Vantage score. Well, in reference to the bank, may be Chase Bank that's offering you a business credit card, and the Vantage score may be a 680. But again, that's a Vantage score. That's not your FICO score. And because it's not your FICO score can be much lower, and then you get denied, and you have that hard inquiry. So I usually try to focus on trying to show you guys the best ways not to get the hard inquiry. If you get the hard inquiry, you still have a higher chance of approval by utilizing the leverage of the banks and the data points that I actually share. All right. Now, you have another bank that a lot of people like, which is Truist Bank. Now, here's the thing about it with Truist. They are Equifax. They are a FICO 8. Now, here's the thing about it that's been happening with Truist, and a lot of people have been surprised. You can get the business credit cards, but when you go after that business line of credit, that business loan, it's usually a soft pull. But what happens is they are starting to want to see more paperwork. I mean, they want to do a 4506T and a 4506C, as well as pay stubs, okay? So for those of you that need help with pay stubs and stuff, click the link in the description. I can help you all with that. Now, the next bank we're talking about, which is a tier 1, but they also are looked at as a tier 2 bank as well, and which is Wells Fargo, and I'll tell you why. Wells Fargo usually use Experian FICO 9 for their business products. Okay, so they use FICO 9, but it's usually Experian FICO 9. Sometimes they may use Equifax, it just depends. But most of the time it's going to be an Experian FICO 9. Again, another low-hanging fruit. Now, here's the thing about it. The reason why I like Wells Fargo, and some people don't care for them, but I like them, because if they give you a business credit card, okay, it's very easy that they'll also give you convenience checks for you can liquidate that money over into your business checking account and use it however, and you're not paying any interest. They have the new business credit card, 12 months, 0% on balance transfers and purchases and stuff, but they will give you convenience checks. Now, they also do have a line of credit as well. And so with that line of credit, usually people have to wait about 90 days to apply. Sometimes you can go in and they may give you a line of credit right away. It just depends on your credit score, right? But at the same time, with that line of credit, the line of credit, they have two lines of credit. You want to go for the one that offers up to $50,000 and not $150,000, okay? That's the one, because you only need a 680 credit score for that line of credit, okay? So that's the reason I tell people, don't overlook Wells Fargo, because they are a good institution. especially for business owners, all right? Now, the last institution is First National Bank. First National Bank of Omaha, okay? Now, they use Experian FICO 9 on the business side. Now, they do offer a secured business credit card, $2,000 up to, I think it's $100,000 or whatever, that's secured. But if you have a 680 credit score, now it is geo-restricted, okay? They are geo-restricted, so you have to be very careful with them. Also, if you're not utilizing the account, or if you max the account out right away, they will cut your limit. They will cut your limit. Or if one of your other cards may show up as a late payment, then that would trigger them to cut your limit as well. So you have to be very careful with First National Bank of Omaha. All right? Like I said, today's my son's birthday. We're going to try to celebrate it as best as we could. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.